Good morning to everyone. So in previous classes, we have discussed about measurement of resistance, high resistance with the help of Megger. That means cable insulation resistance, machine winding resistance. That means there are various applications of Megger with respect to the calculation of high resistance. So in previous classes, we discussed about measuring of insulation resistance and machine winding resistance. So in today's class, we will discuss about measurement of earth resistance with Megger. Okay, and we will deal with the principle, circuit construction, its working operation, and its limitations, and Indian Standard Institute requirements for earthing tools. And we will also discuss about sensitivity of Wheatstone bridge. These are the two concepts we are about to discuss in today's class. So what is the purpose of earthing? What is the main purpose of earthing? What are the various reasons involved in the concept of earthing? That means what is the general significance of earthing? Means earthing is nothing but a general earthing procedure. What is the purpose of earthing? Most of you people are very familiar with the concept of earthing. Okay, so in our general households, if we see the energy meter, so in near to the energy meter there is to be an earthing pit. So what is the main purpose of this earthing? Means the main purpose of earthing is to is it's nothing but a protection. This is nothing but a protection part. That means the earth potential, which is connected to the earth electrode in the earth pit. The main purpose is to create a continuous low resistance path, such that if there is any high currents entered into the line, those will be isolated, and the fault which is about to occur will be neglected. So that is the main purpose of earthing. Okay, the actual objective of earthing, if we see the actual objective, if we see the general purpose of earthing is to protect the equipment from installation, protect the sorry, it is used to protect the equipment for which is to be installed in the domestic household or whatever it may be the thing. That means here we are protecting the equipment from faulty currents or dangerous currents without entering into the household or without entering into the line. Okay, so we are using the concept of earthing. What are the elements we are using? Means we are using earthing electrodes. Okay, the main object of earthing electrode is to ensure that the over voltages or faulty voltages, they shouldn't be entered into the system. Okay, so at what particular instant this type of over voltages or faulty voltages are occurred? Means during the abnormal conditions like lightning strokes, in the instant of lightning strokes or in the instant of lightning discharges during the rainy season, in the monsoon condition, this type of situations will occur. Okay, there used to be hailstorms, lightning strokes and all. So at that instant the lightnings will be discharged into the faulted system. Okay, so at that time, if we ensure a proper earthing, the over voltages or the faulty over voltages will be discharged directly into the earth potential. Okay, so this is one of the important requirement which we discussed here. So second, another important thing is in a three-phase system, and actually in a three-phase system there used to be a chance of occurring short circuits. So during this short circuit condition, there used to be a faulty line, or there used to be a faulty current which may entered into the line segment, and that may cause a catastrophe with respect to the equipment, which used to be operated high potential. In order to eliminate that and in order to stabilize the things, what we did means we have to connect the three-phase circuit, and which is about to connected in the earthing potential. So these are the general provisional requirements for a lightning system. General provisional for a lightning system. So what are the main factors effect on this particular earthing system? Is the resistance is one of the important factor, and second most important main things electrodes. We are talking about earthening electrode. Earthening electrode is one of the important parameter in used in this particular earthing systems. So the type of material which we are using and the type of electrode which we are choosing is one of the important thing. And second one is depth of digging the earth pit. While digging the earth pit, we have to be so particular that the electrode has to be placed in a particular manner in a particular depth. And most importantly, the third important point is the type of soil In previous classes also we discussed about the resistance. Earth resistance varies from soil to soil. For black color, for black type of soil, there used to be one type of resistance. For red soils, so there used to be one type of resistance. For sand soils, there used to be one type of resistance. For moistured soils, there will be one type of resistance. Okay, so depending upon the type of the soils and depending upon the electrodes which where the neighbors used, okay, some of the people earlier electrodes are used to made up of copper, and later they are using aluminum electrodes. So depending upon the electrodes used by the neighbor earth pits and depending upon the soil also, this earthing system will be depending upon so if we see the construction of Megger, which is used for the measurement of earth resistance. So if we discuss the construction point of view here, so this type of Megger is quite different from the previous components. Okay, so here the operation principle is same. The earth resistance can be measured with the help of earth tester or a Megger earth resistance. Okay, so the earth resistance tester, where we can use a direct ohm meter, but rather than using the direct ohm meter, we are using a concept of Megger here for measuring the earth resistance. Okay, so if we see the construction point of view, in this particular construction of earth resistance Megger test circuit consisting of direct current which is flowing through the lines. Sorry, it is flowing through the lines, and it is also consisting of a behavior of a AC system. Why means here we use it the concept of rectifier. This rectifier will convert the system of DC potential into AC. And if we see the peculiar construction, we will go to the working at an end of the step. First, if we observe the construction point of view, the construction of Megger is quite uh, similar to the previous aspects which were discussed in the insulation resistance tester Megger and machine resistance tested Megger. So this earth resistance Megger is also quite similar. This contains also two coils. One will act like a current coil and another will act like a potential coil. Okay, which are mounted at a particular fixed angle. Which are mounted at a particular fixed angle. So this is one current. This is the current coil and this is the potential coil. Potential coil is placed in between the magnets, and this is our current coil. Okay, so this is our current coil. So the current coil carries the current which is directly proportional to the test circuit, whereas potential coil creates certain amount of potential across the resistance. Okay, since there is a current flowing with respect to the current coil and there is a potential flowing with respect to the potential deflection coil, the deflection coil is named as a potential coil. The potential coil is named as deflection coil. So there is to be flux created at the current coil because of the current flowing inside, and there is to be flux created by the deflection coil, and these two fluxes will interact and there used to be a deflection. The principle is quite similar with respect to the previous equipment. Okay, that means the potential coil carries the current which is directly proportional to the potential across the resistance which we are about to test. So this is the resistance which we are about to test. Okay, this is the resistance which we are about to test. And additional, we also have a hand operated generator in order to produce the DC current and in order to eliminate the additional EMF. Okay, so what we did means we connected a rectifier here. We connected a rectifier here. That means the DC is converted into AC. DC is converted into AC with the help of this rectifier. Okay, the alternate current in the soil will produce an alternate drop across the soil potential, which is applied across the moving coil, and that changes the behavior of entire circuit. So for changing this type of alternating drop across the coil, okay, so what we did means we used the concept of rectifier here. This is the concept of rectifier here, and here we have the earth potentials. See, here we have the earth potentials. C1 P1 is one of the earth potential, and C2 P2 is one of the earth potential, which is attached together. It is attached with respect to the test circuit. And if we observe the behavior of the circuit instrument here. This entire instrument which we constructed is quite immune to the stray currents. That means the stray currents which may be produced by the DC generator or the stray currents which are existed in the line can't affect the system. Can't affect the system. That means the immunity with respect to the circuit from the stray currents is present because of the existence of additional resistance or unknown resistance which is present in the circuit. Okay, this happens at a particular instant when the alternate currents flowing with respect to this particular rectifier. See, if we observe the working operation, so this is about the circuit construction. So if you have any queries with respect to the circuit construction, just let me know in the chat box. So if we observe the circuit operation, so the measurement of earth resistance is done with respect to two spikes. So we call that as a current potentials and voltage potential rod. So this is one of C1 P1 is nothing but a current potential rod, and C2 P2 is nothing but voltage potential rod. Okay, and if we see the distance between the C1 P1 C2 P2 is having certain amount of distance here. Generally, if the distance between C1 P1 and C2 PT is around 25 meters. Okay, that means generally from 1 meter to 25 meters. So that we can't say that the distance has to be 25 meters for electrode test, but the distance between two electrodes, from current electrode to potential electrode, the distance should be average distance should be 1 meter. 1 meter. Okay, when the spike is spike, what is the spike means? C1 P1 is one of the is spike, and C2 P2 is one spike. Okay, so first spike is represented with respect to P2 and second spike is represented with respect to C2. So the earth resistance electrode is placed in the particular soil. Okay, and after making a particular distance from 1 meter, next we will do the earth resistance test for 2 meters, next for 3 meters, and we have to calculate the reading after finding the resistance at each individual meters, and after we have to compare the readings with respect to the current coils and potential coil readings. So we can, after comparing the current coil and potential coil readings, we can get to an accurate idea. So what will be the average reading of the earth resistance? So this is about the working. This is about the working of earth resistance maker. So if we see the specifications, so what are the specifications are given with respect to the Indian Standard Institute for Good Earthing means, so earthing electrodes should be at least 15 meters apart. Okay, that means with respect to the building compound or outside the building compound, it has to be two electrodes has to be placed at 15 meters apart. So and earth wire should be made up of same material as made up of electrode. Okay, and the minimum section of earth laid wire is around 0.02 square inches. In nowadays, mostly the earth electrode is made up of galvanized iron. Most of the days nowadays they are using galvanized iron, and the size of the conductor, earth conductor, is a half of the section with respect to the line, and earth wire should be of using a galvanized iron pipe. We said we are using a galvanized iron pipe, so this is that particular dimension of galvanized iron pipe which we are using, that is about 12 diameter, and the length should be 32 centimeters length, and which is placed with respect to the surface area. And second thing is we have to place this galvanized iron pipe of 12 diameter and 32 centimeters length in a loose earth. Loose earth. Why we are called that as a loose earth means we have to segregate the area of the particular earth where we are inserting this galvanized iron pipe. Okay, that means why what we are doing means we have to place that in a cold salt mixture, and we have to take the rock salt and we have to take the charcoal and we have to mix together, and we have to fill that earth pit with that particular moisture, and earth electrode has to be placed there. Okay, and earth wire has to be placed in a particular manner. Okay, so these are the general specifications which you need to follow, and this is about the concept of earth resistance measure. So this is very small concept, and this is a theoretical discussion. There is no description of mathematical analysis here. Next, we will discuss about Wheatstone bridge, sensitivity of Wheatstone bridge. So already we discussed about the concept of Wheatstone bridge. So and we also aware about the sensitivity of Wheatstone bridge. What is the sensitivity of Wheatstone bridge means? The behavior of galvanometer response. The frequent behavior of galvanometer response is explained with respect to the sensitivity of Wheatstone bridge. Why we are saying the behavior of galvanometer means, here there used to be an unbalanced condition. At a balanced condition, we will find out the unknown resistance. How can we, already we discussed the concept of Wheatstone bridge. So how we will discuss about the concept of finding unknown resistance means with the help of resistance comparison. Okay, most of you people are very familiar with the Wheatstone bridge. Wheatstone bridge will have four arms. Wheatstone bridge will have four arms, P, Q, R, S. P and Q is nothing but ratio arms, R is the unknown resistance arm, and S is the standard resistance arm. So if we are saying that the bridge is in a balanced condition, that means current flowing through the four bridges are equal. At that particular instant only, there used to be a null deflection in the galvanometer. But there is a chance of unbalanced condition when there is a balanced situation, slightly unbalanced condition, not there is a major deviation in the balanced condition, but there is a slight deviation with respect to the balanced there is a slight deviation with respect to the galvanometer which exists, which distribute from a balanced region to unbalanced region. So that's why we are discussing the concept of Wheatstone bridge. Why the galvanometer is unbalanced at a particular instant of time, even it is balanced, even there is null deflection. Why it is unbalanced means because of the experienced unknown resistance. Okay, so first we will see the parameters here. The first parameter is selecting a galvanometer which is used to be unbalanced and observed with respect to an specific bridge arrangement. That means we have to select a particular galvanometer. At the first point, what we are discussing means we have to select a particular galvanometer such that it has to be balanced whenever there is an current equality condition. That means the potential drop across four bridges are equal, or current flowing across four bridges are equal. At that condition, it has to be balanced. Okay, so if there is an unbalanced condition, that unbalanced condition should be minimum. Okay, that unbalanced condition should be minimum, and the galvanometer has to indicate the unbalanced condition with the help of a deflection. Okay, so that means we have to determine, or we have to observe the deflection of the particular galvanometer when there is a chance of unbalanced condition. So that is the thing here. So how can we observe this type of unbalanced condition means, if we do a Thevenin equivalent with respect to the Wheatstone bridge. Okay, most of you are very familiar with the Wheatstone bridge. Wheatstone bridge will have four arms, PQRS arms, and we know the resistance comparison method is ratio arms. That is P by Q is equal to R by S. If we do the Thevenin's equivalent, what is the resistance means? Unknown resistance is capital R, and total resistance is represented with respect to delta R. So this is a particular unbalanced condition. If there is a balanced condition, entire voltage drop is equal, but here it is an unbalanced condition. That's why we represented with R plus delta R. That means if there is a change in EMF, or change in resistance, or change in current flowing with respect to the galvanometer, okay, even it is in a balanced condition, it will starts deflecting. ఇక్కడ ఏం జరుగుతుందంటే గ్యాల్వనోమీటర్ బ్యాలెన్స్డ్ కండిషన్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు, అంటే వోల్టేజ్ డ్రాప్ ఈక్వల్ అయినప్పుడు, కరెంట్ ఫ్లోయింగ్ ఈక్వల్ అయినప్పుడు, ఎక్కడైనా స్లైట్ ఈఎంఎఫ్ అనేది చేంజ్ అయితే ఏం జరుగుతుందండి? వోల్టేజ్ డ్రాప్ చేంజ్ అయిపోతుంది, కరెంట్ పాత్ అనేది చేంజ్ అయిపోతుంది. అప్పుడు ఏం జరుగుతుంది? దేర్ యూజ్ టు బి ఏ అన్బ్యాలెన్స్డ్ కండిషన్ విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు గ్యాల్వనోమీటర్ అండ్ ఇట్ విల్ స్టార్ట్స్ డిఫ్లెక్టింగ్. దట్స్ వాట్ వీఆర్ డిస్కసింగ్. ఇప్పుడు now what we have to do means we have to do Thevenin equivalent to this particular Wheatstone bridge. So how can we do a Thevenin equivalent for this particular Wheatstone bridge means, first we will observe the EMF drop across A to B. EMF drop across A to B. EAB is equal to I1 into P. Okay, so voltage drop across A to B, that is equal to I1 into P, whereas most of you are very familiar That I1 is nothing but E by P plus Q. Current flowing through the, we calculated in the concept of Wheatstone bridge, I1 is equal to E by P plus Q, and we multiplied we substitute that there. And next, what is the voltage drop across EAD? EAD, that is equal to resistance drop across unknown resistance, that is I2 into unbalanced resistance, that is unknown resistance plus change in resistance, that is equal to, you know the value of I2. What is the value of I2? E by R plus S. I substituted that here. Okay, E by R plus S. If we do the voltage difference across EAB minus EAD, that is equal to E into R plus delta R divided by R plus delta R plus S minus P by P plus Q. Okay, so we know that the resistance arms P by Q is equal to R by S. Okay, if we do that phenomenon here, what will be the voltage drop? Voltage drop is equal to E into R plus delta R by R plus delta R plus S minus P by P plus S. If we simplify this expression, this is our final expression, that is ES delta R by R plus S whole square. That means here the sensitivity is quite less than the total resistance drop in the particular Wheatstone bridge. That means there used to be a change in with respect to galvanometer. There used to be a volt EMF change with respect to the bridge, and there used to be a change with respect to galvanometer, and it is experiencing an unbalanced condition. At that instant of time, we can clearly observe this is the particular deflection. This is a particular deflection which we carried about. This is the particular deflection which we carried about. That means the concept of bridge sensitivity. Okay, how we can analyze the concept of bridge sensitivity means the bridge sensitivity can be analyzed with respect to the galvanometer at a particular fraction of EMF is disturbed the galvanometer. It is moving from one particular instant to another particular instant. So that is called the concept of bridge sensitivity. Okay, so the bridge which is balanced, which is depending upon the bridge voltage, it is depending upon the bridge voltage or bridge EMF. It is depending upon the current flowing through the bridge, and it is also depending upon the voltage parameters across the bridge. Okay, so if we rearrange the voltage drops, if we rearrange the currents flowing, and if we rearrange the EMF, and again the bridge will be coming into its balanced state. Coming into its balanced state. So that is about today's discussion. That is about today's discussion. Anybody is having any doubt, just let me know in the chat box. So in today's class, we have discussed about the concept of earth resistance measure. We have seen what is the purpose and what is the significance of earth resistance. And we have seen the main factors involved in the concept of resistance. We have discussed about the construction of earth resistance measure. And we have seen the general working operation of resistance measure. And we have seen the Indian Standard Institute specifications of earthing. And we discussed about sensitivity of Wheatstone bridge.